time now to review headlines on today's newspapers. We don't have KK, Kayode Kamalafe with us today, but Steve, let's see what we've got.
We'll carry on. Okay, so we start with This Day, the newspaper of record, where the lead story today says, expose criminals threatening nation security. Buhari charges Nigerians. And the riders say terrorists release 7 of 50 remaining train passengers. Kuje attack. Police rearrest fleeing Boko Haram suspect in Nasarawa. NSCDC alerts on planned attacks on schools, churches, others. In new measures, Irabo meets heads of security agencies daily. I mean, this will stay for, a long time on, as the front burner in terms of, this is something that Nigerians are concerned about. Well, I like the fact that the president is charging Nigerians to key into the intelligence gathering mechanism to expose criminals and terrorists, etc. But then you can only urge them to be part of it. It is not their duty. I agree that, as it is said elsewhere, when you see something, say something. But that can only happen when you see something. It is the duty of those within the intelligence, circle to actually go out, and they know how they do it. Yeah. And as Nigerians will say, when there was census and you needed to find out how money was paid into certain accounts, in no time you dictated through the CBN. You knew how you stopped some of the principal players there from traveling abroad. You knew how to track them. If something threatens the interest of government directly, you know how to deal with it. So when it concerns security, why are you now asking people to give you information? You can go after these people. They are not ghosts. Money, big money, is exchanging hands on a daily basis. How come we can track them? NIN is there. We're told that we are possibly more than 70% compliance now. Yeah. But yet, they are carrying out, exchanging information, exchanging text messages. And the whole point of the NIN, apart from capturing data and having people in database, is to be able to track, bad people, gangs, terrorists, and bandits. So
I'm glad you bring that up, because what's the point of it?
What's the point?
That's the big question mark. What's the point if it's not effective?
Exactly.
Or is it effective, but we're just deliberately not using it?
The point is, if they're using it and we are tracking people through it, they will have attributed the success of whatever they're able to chat to NIN and other measures. But we have not had anything in that regard. It simply means that there's nothing going on in that area. Yes, urge people not to cover bad attitude and criminal gangs. But then you already have people. I mean, remember when in the days of Baba Kyari, when he was so good and he was tracking all the kidnappers, part of what was said of him at that time was that, he had guys who could disguise as food seller, that could disguise as a newspaper vendor, that could, to penetrate and gather information. That's what is expected of them. And just like we said when we, at the beginning of this program, if a Nigerian that is not a state player is able to have interface with terrorists,
then it shows
to the point of negotiating the release, there's something in the system that is not adding up. And that's the area that the president, as the chief security officer and commander-in-chief of the country, should deal with, which is, it's interesting. I think there's another story where, Irabo meets heads of security agencies, daily. That is good, but then give them this charge. And if they are not delivering, it simply means that...
and for daily meetings, that's a lot of time being spent and nothing happening.
There will always be a unit of the security agency to meet on a daily basis. Yeah. Meeting doesn't necessarily mean that they will sit down and be talking.
Yeah, but what are the results?
Yeah, meeting could be virtual, meeting could be updates, meeting could be, what's going on. Track people, ensure that, information is available. Intelligence gathering is key. It is not the citizens that will deliver that. They can assist, but it is not their duty. That is important. Other stories, the one on top of the lead. 2023, you can't snatch Wike from PDP. Saraki tells APC governors. Are you to meet PDP governors as plot for his removal thickens? Again, PDP will have to deal with the demons within his fold going towards 2023 elections. And Rivers State will be key. Like Senator Jaribo said the other time, you can't discountenance somebody who, with all his faults and everything, somebody who has who indeed tried to hold the party together, funded the party, heavily, ensure that it remained the main opposition party. You can't slap a man and ask him not to cry. That's his prerogative. So Wike reacting in the manner that he's reacting would only mean that, he's asking PDP to do better. So former Senate President Saraki.
Do you think, Steve, while we're on this Wike topic, and I know we've spoken about it at such extensive lengths, do you think he ever saw this coming? Is this all a shock to him?
I don't think it will be a shock, just like Senator Jaribo said. And what he said, when we interviewed him was key, that you can't, that Wike sees this as premeditated. Yes, he might feel that you don't go into a war and not have an exit strategy if you lose or you are losing. So what the senator was saying was that what Governor Wike might not take is the premeditated plan of saying, don't worry, we'll run him out of the game. If he loses the presidency, the nomination as a candidate, we still won't give him the vice presidential slot, even though he's the most popular among party members, given what he has done for the party. What we'll do is that we'll now form a committee and say, let us go and appease him, let us go and talk to him. So that's what Senator Jaribo was saying, that he saw that coming. And he was prepared for it, not to give in and say, oh, you can't just come and beg me because I knew that you were going to do that. Let me be sure, let me be clear in my thoughts that this is what I want to do. If it's not clear and if it's not satisfied, it may not necessarily dump the party, but then it may not work for the party, towards election. Without his support, without River State being in the kitty, it would be a big blow to the chances of the party. So I get the point of what former Governor Saraki, former Senate President, is saying, because he knows that you can't have three key governors like, Governor of Lagos State, of Ekiti State, of Ondo State, together with former Governor of Ekiti, Adele Fashi, meeting with Wike. He knows the possibilities of what might come out of that. So he's basically wanting them to say that we won't allow Wike to leave. How you play the game of Wike not leaving is totally up to PDP. It is not up to Wike. Do you get? Because if PDP fails to properly appease him, Wike can take any decision. If he thinks that APC stands a better chance of winning.
So then it's not entirely up to PDP in the real sense of it then, because if he still exercises his power of choice and say, hey, it looks better on that camp from, there are a lot of unknowns, yet again. There are a lot of unknowns, there are things that we don't know about.
It was not window shopping earlier.
That's true. That's true.
He's always been a committed PDP member. The reason why he will look out of the window will be because he feels that he's been, treated badly. Yeah. So it is up to PDP to ensure that he feels, I don't know how they will appease him, frankly speaking, other than to assure him. But you see the rider there that says, are you to meet PDP governors as plot for this removal thicken, is part of what the Wike camp is demanding. To say, oh, okay, if I'll consider anything at all, you must go. Remember that Secondus, a Rivers man that was there before, it was Wike that put him there, it was Wike that removed him. Now that IU has played a major role in the treatment that has been meted out to Wike, I think part of what he would demand is that I can't deal with this fellow as a chairman of the party. He probably will have to go. As starters in negotiating what will be done. Will they be able to extend that to saying that no, 14 out of 70 people picked Wike over Okoa, even though Vice President Atiku Abubakar has the last say in choosing who should be his running mate? time will tell.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that at least somebody strong, a big voice in PDP, is speaking out, in reaction to that APC coup with the 3 governors visiting Wike.
It's been such a telenovela over the last few days around this.
That's the nature
and there's a few.
That's the nature of politics, isn't it? On top of the masthead, WHO reports first 2 cases of Marburg virus disease in Ghana. That story is on page 5. That's not a cheery news. It means that ECOWAS countries, especially Nigeria, should be careful.
Marburg virus.
Marburg virus. You remember that it was in Guinea that was detected at a time, and WHO had expressed worry about the fact that Marburg can be a major issue, just like Ebola. And I think that the health authorities must be watching this very, very keenly.
Definitely.
On the window, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria laments high cost of diesel, demands license to import from Niger Republic, Chad, says industries are being converted to warehouses and event centers. That's the story of our life. It is not, it's not a cheery news at all. And Manufacturers Association is very much on point here to say that with high cost of diesel, things will go bad if we don't quickly, watch it. NNPC will have to clearly define what it's trying to do. As I said yesterday, on the 19th, next week, Tuesday, major, makeover of the NNPC in terms of the NNPC Limited, coming on board. How will this affect what individuals and manufacturers are dealing with in terms of the high cost?
And that's if we can even find diesel as we speak right now.
Sorry?
Because that's if we can even find diesel as we speak. That's a whole different issue on its
own. You'll be
own.
able to find, but then you pay through your nose.
Yeah.
And then we're now at a point where we're now considering going to Niger with only 1 refinery in less than 10, 15 years in Niger Republic. What happens to us, giving out or selling crude to Niger and say refine for us? As bad as that proposition might look, but then this is where we are. 4 refineries we can't fix.
The irony of it, isn't it?
And then we're importing, from Europe, from elsewhere. It's a sad commentary on a government that came to power, among other things, on the point that the subsidy regime was a fraud. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. What is bad is bad is bad. Last but not the least, on the cover of this day, 21 people missing in Lagos boat accident, flood disasters. I think the social media was awash with these stories, yesterday, especially about the family that went around in Okwoba in Lagos State looking, I think, to buy ram, and then they got swept off in the flood, and that only 1 person survived. We have not heard from the authorities or from government or police to confirm, but yesterday's rain and the flooding was really, really very bad, and there were casualties.
But here's the thing, Steve, this happens every year.
Every year.
Every year. It's not going to stop raining anytime soon. Next year, this is going to happen again.
Because it's under the sea, below the sea level, so you expect this.
This is beyond egregious. That we have the same conversation, just the same we talk about security every other day, and we talk about the floods every year. For as long as I remember moving back to Lagos, this has been
that's what you get.
A story.
Yeah.
So there's a bigger cry around this as to, are we just going to lament about it every year? Or is something going to actually happen?
I read about, I saw many of the Lagos State government officials, saying that, oh yeah, the rain started around this time, or by noon, it has, subsided, the flood. But I don't think that's the point. Part of what was needed, which was lacking yesterday, was that there was no adequate communication. Once you have a certain volume of rain coming, and we saw that from Friday, that it was going to be bad on Saturday. Information should have gone out warning citizens to be careful. Opposition parties are now taking advantage of what has happened. Forming PDP is doing that, creating their own private intervention thing to mitigate the effect of people, just basically, falling over, on the lagoon, etc. Jide Adediran, the PDP candidate, released something yesterday to say that, we will have our own thing in all the 20 local government areas of Lagos State. That's like an opposition party seizing the momentum. But then I believe that government will respond. But in their response, communication is key. How you advise citizens, how you engage with them, especially at this period. This is rainy season. Worst days might come. Don't let it be as if nobody is speaking, to the citizens.
What about getting rid of the problem itself instead of the communication? What is it going to take to fix the... I might be poorly informed, the drainage systems. Why do we have these floods? For anybody who comes in here and they don't actually really understand,
it's not that
what is it going to take?
Not that simple,
let's talk about the complexity of that.
Yes, the drainage system might be challenging, but I know for a fact that Lagos State government has done quite a lot. And they do that. There's always an intervention plan. But no matter how much the drains are working, once you have a certain volume of rainwater coming, they will overflow. Just like it was said, yesterday that I referred to. After 2-3 hours, it will recede. But while you are at it, while the rain is still falling, there will be flood. From Lekki to Yanoworo, Lagos is below sea level. It's only once you leave Yanoworo and going to the, a core mainland that you can say that, it's slightly above sea level. So as long as it is raining, you have to deal with the effect, of the lagoon overflowing, of the, the drains won't be able to deal with it.
But do you believe
quite
that
basically
the best has been done?
No,
to address it?
No, not the best.
Like so much more could be done.
But you can't totally eliminate it because of the peculiar nature of Lagos State, which is why information is key, that this will happen. And while it happens, it's better for you to stay at home at that point in time.
True.
Sacrifice 3-4 hours so that you don't get caught up in that sort of a thing. That's what happened. That's why people died yesterday. Oh, I think we should go to the this style. I know you are not very satisfied.
Yeah, I am not very satisfied, Steve. But it's okay. No, actually, it's not okay. But we move on.
It will be okay.
Hopefully. All right. On this day style, we have this is looking at the tech leaders now, and we have Mosun Bello Olusoga. Of course, I have not gotten into it, but this will be a celebration. Women's in terms of their first. Of course, she was the first female executive director at Guaranty Trust Bank and the first female director at Access Bank. Wow. So quite a number of accolades there. I will take time to get into this possibly later. Yeah. But, in true this day style fashion.
It's a good focus on people doing well, making a difference in their profession.
Yeah. And particularly, I'm not biased, but this wave of female, Steve is looking at me like you're not biased, but I know what you're about to say. Female tech leaders or the wave of even female tech founders and them getting funding now in Nigeria. Yeah. That is such a refreshing. It's so refreshing to hear that. It is. You agree with me, don't you?
No smart editor will miss that. And I commend the editor of this style, for focusing on women doing well. Women supporting women without a doubt. So that's a good one. Yeah. And you too supporting women,
Always,
so I commend them. Let's move to Sunday Punch quickly. The lead story there says fuel crisis may worsen as marketers threaten strike. Demand dollars. Say federal government owing members billions. Present resolutions to government Tuesday. We're meeting their demands, says government. Why do I have a feeling that that something is missing in the coordination of the governance apparatus in Nigeria? It looks like a tight, effective, adequate coordination is missing, and people are just basically reacting to different problems as they crop up. That's why it will show, that things are so loose. The country is basically flying at half-mast. If this happens, as Punch is predicting that it may worsen, you know what it means. After we had the fuel scarcity of the penultimate week, it was said that if certain things are not done, in a week's time, we will go through this again. This is what we are dealing with all the fuel queues and everything. We knew that it will come. But then because the coordination that I spoke about is lacking, nobody is basically calling the necessary meetings and engaging with those stakeholders that can make life difficult for people.
And
this is the effect.
Through, even after the engagement.
Absolutely, this is the effect. Because even when you meet and you engage, I suspect that those that are engaging with the critical stakeholders lack the authority to make promises.
That's true.
That will be believable to the people. You are owing us so amount. When and how do we get it? They are not getting believable, plausible reactions, from them. It's because something is missing, something is lacking.
It's also a band, aid approach to everything. To say, hey, you know what? So everybody's all arms in the air right now. Let's quickly do something to fix it. It's like a stopgap.
Yeah.
And then it rears its head again.
Yes. Or that after all the noise, they will slow down. They will keep quiet. Yeah. I do not know how much power ministers have. Even if a minister is meeting with them, that it does not end with the minister. Especially when you're dealing with backlog, as we are dealing with in this fuel situation. Coordination, effective coordination is missing. And we've got 9, 10, 11 months more to go, before this administration ends.
Let's not
Are we
forget
going to continue like that?
As well.
Are we going to continue like this? Somebody should speak to somebody.
Somebody.
High up there.
A few people.
On top there, Lawan Akpabio fate uncertain over 2023 senatorial bid. That's a major issue that they will have to deal with. You can't run for president and then run back to say that, okay, since it failed, I want to go. Then these people read the Electoral Act, especially as lawmakers, that they presented to the government, to the president to sign off on. And now you're running helter-skelter. I think this would be a test for INEC, to ensure that they do the right thing, what the law says. If you have lost out in your bid to become president, you can't roughen it and basically say, oh, a placeholder is holding the ticket for me to return to the Senate, therefore I should grab it. I think Nigerians are watching, and this will be an important way to gauge how people respect the rule of law in this country. PDP remains strong, nothing to worry about. That's how the chairman of the party. And interestingly, we have the pictures of Ayu, and Wike there. We've already discussed them. We will see who blinks first. But as I said, part of the demand if Wike will stay will be something that might affect, the chairmanship of Iyochi Ayu. I think we should also go to the nation so that we can have more robust.
Okay, so we've got here no respite for states as pension arrears, workers' salaries mount. Okay, this is a conversation that, of course, has also been existing for quite a while.
That's right. The issue of pension.
Yes.
The arrears are humongous. I don't know how many governors are dealing with it, but it's a major problem.
And we don't. Okay, we'll have to look into. We don't know exactly what this number is.
Yeah.
But that's a real big issue. We've got 16. Okay, I think we just said 16 missing in Salah.
So the nation has put a figure to it. 16 missing in Salah Eve boat mishap. 4 bodies recovered, 5 rescued from flood in Lagos. So this is what I'm saying.
Now, this is tragic. Not that there's any good day for this to happen, but, also in the middle of festivities.
16 people missing just on account of rain is not small.
Not at all.
We've gotten so used to, just counting bodies that it doesn't seem to bother many people again. But 16, 4 already, recovered. That's a lot. It's just a rain, but no. This is where we are.
Yeah.
This is where we are. And it's not good news.
It really isn't. And of course, we have to express, our condolences to the family and sympathies to all those affected in that as well. Let's move on to the top of. We've got PDP crisis. Atiku's absence stalls reconciliation moves. Party won't allow Wike to defect, says Saraki. So,
we've picked that. But then why is Atiku making himself unavailable? He's basically feeling that, maybe he's thinking that, why is Wike throwing tantrums? Or could it be a case of Atiku, when he's not here, he's in his other base in Dubai, because it's said of him that, once he loses an election, he runs to Dubai and then comes back, once there's another opportunity to give it a go. If the two of them do not sit down and thrash this out, it will be an issue.
Yeah, they don't have to sit down. We're in the digital age now.
I sense that Atiku might be thinking, who does he think he is? That with or without him, I can be governor, but I can be president.
I sense that it could be happening on both sides. Let's see.
Let's see how it goes.